Alright, now on that note, we got into the foot, and then you start to think about detail, and I want to get out of that as soon as possible and get back into rhythm again. So there's always plenty of time for long studies, and there's time enough for us to explore each individual part in a longer lesson. For this lesson, I want to keep to the gluteus and its relationship to the ribcage. So I'll get back into that again. So you can see on that study sheet on the right that that's exactly what's being done, even more so. It's all about the gluteus and hips, and as you can see, it fades down the leg. I want the relationship of the gluteus and the upper leg always constantly there. But you can see I've faded off into the rib cage on that study sheet for a more detailed look and understanding of just that part. You see all the wonderful notes there that Alana has written for me during her break while I was doing another drawing. So that's a drawing of Alana. And I'll draw Alana a lot. She's a regular collaborator on my work. I don't know what I would do without her, really. She's so terrific. And so I'm very lucky to have great models. And so here I'm thinking about the twisting nature of the upper part of the body. Like I say, the hips can turn and tilt. They can't twist like the upper body can. And that's due to the scapula on the back. The scapula at the top of your back, the two wing bones, are able to bring your shoulders forward. We can't do that with the hips, certainly not individually. One scapula can move up and down and forward and backwards, while the other stays exactly where it is, and the hips don't do that. One side moves, the other moves with it. Has to. They're fused. That's the big difference. What we're seeing is a three-quarter view twisting forward of the upper part of the body, the upper torso, and a three-quarter twisting view of the hips going back in space. So one coming forward, the other going back. And you see that even though I'm drawing the idea of hips in these lectures, I'm always aware of the simplicity of shapes in complicated areas. I want to always remind myself that that brachioradialis muscle is always going to bulge on the outside of the body, no matter what way the arm's twisted. So I want to really feel that bulge on the outer edge all the time. And the forearm twists, and so the thumb can turn around, but that brachioradialis is always on the same outer side, never on the inside. You can't touch your inside of your body with your brachioradialis muscle. You try, but you're not going to be successful. So the inside of your elbow basically is your funny bone, and the outside elbow, the epicondyle, is where the brachioradialis and extensor muscles, all the muscles that lift your fingers up and out and spread your fingers, they're all there. So you can see the lovely little gesture of the hair. You know, I love it when I can find gesture, even if it's in the hair. And if things get too structural, like they are here, then I'll go up into the hair and just find that gesture again to keep my hand fluid. Now you can see from the side that the rib cage gets longer, because there's 12 ribs at the back and 10 at the front, which tells us one thing, that the extra 2 at the back don't go round to the front. So they're known as the floating bones, because they don't attach around the front. Now I can see that I'm also looking down at the figure a little, and that's why I'm drawing these little quick drawings, so that we can see how the hips behave not only in a twist, but also from certain angles, how the shapes change from different angles. So you can see now that that gluteal line is much shorter, because I'm looking down at it, and that's perspective, than it was in the last drawing, where we saw that gluteal line in a sitting pose. And look how we press more with the soft shapes of the gluteus. When they meet a surface, they start to press up into that great trochanter bone. And the great trochanter bone, and that's why bones are great landmarks, is immovable. It can shift around, but it isn't going to be pushed aside by a muscle. It's going to be solid, and the muscle is going to have to compress around it or against it. So there's constant movement onto the body of the muscles and bones, and the flesh on top also has to accommodate.